Yo, welcome to the debut episode of the Commentary Position podcast. Podcast about wrestling, primarily, at least right now, the WWE. We appreciate you guys for joining us for this episode. Post Elimination Chamber, which honestly was better than I expected.
Wild.
Yeah, very, very insane, very insane. As always, my name is Percy, PTP, whichever you prefer. With me, we got G. How's it going?
Good, man. What a night. Good to be back on with the group, with you, podding again.
Yeah, it's been a minute. The plan has always been to eventually bring a wrestling podcast to the forefront, and shoot, what better time than the big 2025, especially with everything that's going on the road to WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber in Toronto, I believe.
Yep. Rogers Center in Toronto.
Yep, and in a way, I guess it used to be like a more or less a rundown, of course, because a lot happened from start to finish. Couple returns.
Lot to talk about.
Yeah, major. Just kind of like started off though. Honestly, just from a standpoint of the road to WrestleMania itself, have they done? I feel like they've done enough prior to like build the hype for it. But would you say like the Elimination Chamber has always kind of been that like real spike in electricity? Because it's almost like not like they're forced to build like Elimination Chamber up as like this. Oh, like this is when we really like take off into the stratosphere. But Chamber has been that bridging point between okay, this is where we can say we got at least 5 matches on the card.
Why would
Give or
I?
take.
My guess is they're probably, given the way things have been going, that I think there were probably a lot of possible ideas on the table, and once they set this night in motion, that set what they were going to do in motion. And I still think there's that variable of, yeah, Rock was on tonight's show. He didn't do anything physical other than whip Cody, but I still think certain things could or could not be set in stone depending on is he actually going to wrestle. It doesn't seem like he's going to, but we don't know for sure if he
Yeah,
will. So
yeah,
have
it's a
we?
lot. Yeah.
The only thing we know for sure is Bianca and Cena. That's really all we got for sure. For what seemingly for sure is that.
Yeah, as far as guaranteed, they're on the card. Oh yeah, that and Jay. Those are the only for sure they're gonna
Right.
be there.
And well, in Charlotte.
But yeah, and Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah. But okay. But we can talk about that one. Yeah, but like the show lived up to the hype for sure. But did it like make everything clear as far as where WrestleMania is? No, I actually have more questions now than I did when the night started because I still see a ton of possibilities. And like, could the undisputed WWE Championship be a triple threat? Is Rock going to wrestle? What's Roman going to do? Still don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot to unpack. But let me see. Okay, so let's get right into it. Of course, obviously, the Women's Elimination Chamber started off the night. It was Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Bailey.
Yep.
I think that's all. Yeah, all 6.
Oh, you know what? Before you started there, one thing that kind of surprised me
Mhm.
is the crowd.
Pretty lively or pretty mid?
Mid, like not that hot. For certain parts, they were a little hot, but I expected more out of it because it's not only a Canadian crowd, but it was also the Rogers Center is a baseball stadium, which is like they could put about 60,000 in for a baseball game playoff if the Blue Jays ever made the playoffs. No offense, Blue Jays fans, just saying.
Right.
But for wrestling, they could have. I was expecting something in the 50s, and it was 38. That was a little surprising.
They were like
me.
mid-30s. Yeah.
They announced 38,493, which I thought was mad low.
Yeah, especially from at least like the previewing of the seating on SmackDown, like the amount of space they had in there, you would have assumed like it would probably like at least somewhat eclipse. Well, I don't think it'll eclipse like like their like California gates where they can fit like dang near 80,000 in there. At least it would seem.
No,
they fit like
but
80,000.
I mean, but they can do close to 60,000 for a baseball game. I would think for a wrestling event, I was thinking 50, 55.
Yeah, at least 50. Yeah.
But 38 is a bit shocking to me. In Canada, if it would have been some like random baseball stadium here in the States, like in a non-major market, I could have bought, 38,000, fine. But in Canada,
yeah,
I'm a little surprised with it.
38 makes sense.
But like 38,000 for this, and they were not super loud, like a Canadian crowd would. They were, I would say, and unsurprisingly, there were certain moments where the crowd was hot and loud, but not super loud for 40,000 people, except for Sami and Kevin, to be honest with you. I think that was the loudest the crowd really was all night.
Yeah. Well, and to go with this at least, somebody tried to do the Bailey chant, but I feel like at that point, like that ship has sailed. Like I don't even think she tried. There was a chant, but
there were a lot of like tries to chant, and they were drowned out because like the whole crowd didn't do it. It was uneven. I mean, it took a little bit away. I'm not gonna lie, it took a little bit out of it because the crowd was not. They seemed disjointed. Not that they weren't enjoying themselves, but the crowd itself in totem seemed disjointed.
Yeah.
Like, seems like some people cheered and chanted, and then others sat on their hands and then like flipped, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
it didn't seem
they
like
waited until they really had to make a response. They didn't want to make anything.
Basically, yeah, they were timid. That's the right word. It was a timid crowd. They weren't as hot as would be expected, but small complaint.
Yeah. That's one thing about certain parts of Canada. Certain parts of Canada are good for wrestling. That's like what was it, like Quebec is perfect because I mean deep rooted. There's a couple of places in Canada that are louder.
I mean that was Toronto. I mean last night, Friday night, they were in Toronto at the whatever it's called, where the Leafs actually play. That crowd was hot. This crowd just didn't sound like that crowd. Friday night's crowd sounded louder and it was 14,000 people, and then this crowd, which was almost 39. That did take a little bit away from me because I thought they would have been loud as shit. But like I said, it took a little bit away, but a little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
The chamber. So yeah, as you were saying, Alexa, it was Alexa, then Roxanne, and then Bailey and Bianca in the chambers, and Liv and Naomi to start.
Yeah. Before the match started, because at first I was like in and out before they like really got it kicking.
Yeah.
But Jade Cargill makes the return. Going to what you said, the pop that she should have gotten was not there at all. You would kind of just think like, oh, Jade's been there the entire time, when in reality she's been gone for like 3 months minimum. I think 3 months. I
Yeah,
think.
she got some shock pop, and then when she went on the attack, they got they got more into it. But it like you know
Yeah, like once they realized what she intended to do, they were like, oh, like she's making something happen. Which I mean, that's kind of, like, it's kind of normal, but everybody probably assumed, the most fans probably assumed, oh, Liv Morgan's gonna get that work. She pump fakes the punch. Naomi gets the brakes beat off of her in a crazy beat down. Like I seen a comment where they said like they knew Naomi did it, but they didn't expect her to get dog walked like that.
yeah she got
Like,
dog walked and taken out of the match, and honestly, my first thought was, oh, is Becky coming back? Are they going to replace her and have
yeah, like
someone
you would
else
have thought like, oh, like somebody
in
has
the
to replace
match?
her because to make it six, but they just let it rock. Like Liv went to go bully Bianca, like, "Ha, I told you I didn't do it. Now your friend's bleeding, and now you have no." Kind of like basically like making fun of her,
Yeah.
setting up
hmm
for the inevitable Bianca emotional overcoming thing. But aside from that, uh, pretty solid in my opinion. Everybody had their moments. Roxanne, to me, probably had the best performance, just for it being her first chamber. I think it's her first main roster pay per view, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say in that sense, Rock, and she's going to be a huge star. But um, honestly, everybody got their moment. Um, I was actually super. I'm not. I've never said she was bad. She's.
Right.
I'm not saying she's top tier either. But I was actually extremely impressed with Liv. I honestly was. I was actually
Yeah.
very impressed with Liv tonight. Like, she really brought something that I want to see more of. And despite the way she went out, I thought Alexa was great.
Oh yeah, Alexa's role in this match, even in the build up, like she wasn't really like doing a lot of talking. She was just showing up, putting hands on people, which
But
was a
she
good contrast compared to everybody else.
but she also had that like Wyatt-ish evil persona. So she had the
Yeah, like
mannerisms and the face, but
yeah,
the way she was moving in the ring was it might be it arguably it might be the best she's ever looked. Like, she was crisp, she was clean, her moves looked angry. Like, it was like, okay, I like this.
yeah, and it's
Like,
like
everybody
it's a good mix of
everybody
the
was good.
gimmicks.
Yes,
Uh,
everybody. I was, but like I said, I think honestly, to me, I think honestly, if it wasn't for the way, if Alexa had been in there for like a few more minutes, I would have said Alexa was the standout. But I gotta say, I think it was Liv. Liv impressed me the most. Truly, I mean, I already knew Roxanne was good, and she had a good showing, and she looks good, and I know she's going to be a huge deal. I'm all for it.
yeah,
I just think, Liv impressed me the most. Her
yeah,
psychology, her moves looked good. Nothing looked sloppy. Everything looked like the timing looked good. Like, clearly they set this up well, and everybody was on their A game tonight. But Liv, like I said, I think Liv impressed me the most. Like, I was like, oh, I see more of this. Like, then I get it.
yeah. Plus with Liv, I feel like Liv always does better in. Cause I feel like almost every chamber match she's been in, she's kind of been, depending on who else is in the ring with her, she's always been the standout. Just because I feel like she embodied, like, the more time went on with her gimmicks and like transformation of just her as a wrestler, her comfortability in cage matches has like gotten a lot better. So it brings
But
out
it
more in her for like multi women cage matches.
but it does beg the question:
Hmm.
Is she was she now? I have my opinion on it. Obviously, like I said, but it does beg the question: Is she better with women her own size. And that's why she looks so good tonight. Because, like, wrestling the Nias and Rheas, and I'm not saying Rhea is bad at all. Rhea's fucking awesome. But maybe it's like stylistically, is it that, or is it just because everybody else in the match is so damn good? She looked good as a byproduct of everybody else being so damn good. She had to be good because like everybody else was so good.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a mix between, because I feel like in this match more people, like I think her, Bliss, and Roxanne were all around a similar stature, so that made it easier. But also it's the fact that she, aside from Roxanne, she pretty much has been working with all of those women for the past near 5 years, whether it be like from Riot Squad years, the Rouseys, like she's been around those competitors so much that like over time you're gonna get crisper and crisper. Like the more you fight Bianca, your next match is gonna get better. The more you fight Bayley, it's gonna get better and better. But definitely there were certain spots that they could pull off a lot more smoother because her and Roxanne doing a double team move, they're moving at the same speed, or her and Bliss countering each other, they're dang at the same speed. So it's like a mix.
But it's like, yeah, but like after watching some of the exchanges, it's like, you know what? Liv and Alexa could actually be a pretty damn good match the way they look tonight. And I wouldn't have thought I would have said that.
Yeah, like, like shoot, even I feel like even throughout the match or like the build-ups, they kind of planted the seeds for like if Alexa was to be moved back to Raw, Roxanne and Liv are like almost immediate go-tos if they just really want to like have Bliss, have some rivalry set up, because after she eliminated
was like shocked. But if we theoretically get a triple threat and you get like Bianca moved, then the top of the card is kind of heavy. But you could keep Liv as tag champ with Raquel and floating, and Alexa and a certain person who I will speak of later as a tag team. There you go. That could be a fun little.
Yeah. They, like you said, it's like you will still get them in the ring together, but in a different setting. But you would still get it. It would still be gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So like, well, obviously aside from that, Bianca did end up winning. Like we said, very emotional match character-wise for Bianca. Obviously, seeing your friend get destroyed while you're in the pod, you can't help. A lot of questions that she still needs to be answered, but she punched her ticket to Mania. When we talked about this prior, you had her winning. I didn't. So I'll point this over to you. As far as her winning, and obviously that being like the direction they went with, the ramp shot, was that foreshadowing?
Yes. Honestly, yes. I look, the way they've been booking it. I mean, honestly, Rhea kind of got robbed of a super long title reign because of her injury. So I could absolutely see where Rhea wins, but I could also see, Bianca being in the match. But the way they've been booking things with Io, I think Io is not going to win Monday. She's going to get screwed again somehow. And the reason they had Io come out while Bianca and Rhea were having that stare down is because Io is going to get screwed Monday, get put into that match as a triple threat, and Io's walking out with the belt.
Oh, Mania is going to be that she hasn't had that moment yet. Her last championship win was SummerSlam, I believe.
They wouldn't be booking all this Io the way they're booking it, just to have her have a random title match finally on a Monday on Monday after this pay-per-view, lose, and then have a nothing match at WrestleMania. They're building something. I think she's going to find her way into the match at WrestleMania, and she's going to win it.
Mm.
The crowd is getting more and more organically behind Io every week. Io is going to win. That's what I'm thinking. That's what the foreshadowing is. Io came out last, and they both turned to look at her because she's the one who's going to walk out with the belt.
Yeah, I can
And
definitely see that. Yeah.
I'll even go one further. I'll even go one further. Her first actual feud after the belt, Asuka.
Oh yeah, because Asuka's coming back from injury.
Yep.
Inevitably, yeah.
Yep.
Well, they could do Kyrie too.
They could both. Like they're still Asuka and Kyrie are still kind of a team, even though Damage Control is basically gone, and Io doesn't want Io wouldn't probably want a part of it anymore. Like she could both, sure. Because Kyrie can still go, but her booking's just been terrible. Like nobody cared about the group. It's not the ability. It's just nobody cared about the group.
Yeah, because like Kyrie Sane is literally, I can't say underrated because everybody knows how good she is, of course, but she's one of the ones where unless like her and Asuka were like when her and Asuka were a tag team, they were like mad dominant. They were kind of like the female Kai and Tai, if that makes sense. Like they kind of like had the little funny laugh, the anime type of energy, but they were kicking ass. So it was like it worked out for them. But when you put Kyrie in a group where it seems like almost she's third wheeling when you know that she's on the same par as Io, and like Dakota Kai getting mid card shots. I'm not mad about that either. But Kyrie should be doing something.
Right, and maybe it's just because she is small, and maybe if you want her to go out there and like really put on like a banger clinic, yeah, but maybe generally speaking, she isn't 100% WWE style and just doesn't mesh with women on the roster. They can't go at her level, and she can't. Maybe she just can't slow down. And if she tries to slow down because if she tries to slow down to like match her opponent, whoever that might be, she looks bad by proxy because of who she's in there with. If they let her go out, like if her and Io, if you let her and Io go out and wrestle, I'm not saying a specifically Japanese style of match, but you let them go out there, give them 15 to 20 minutes, they'll put on a banger. Same with Asuka. They'll put on a banger.
The Puro style is definitely, well, not Puro, but like that Joshi style definitely is an acquired taste. Because even people said it with Julia, like when she first got there, it seemed like Julia was like stiffing people in NXT, and they were wondering like, oh, like how is that gonna work? She hits hard, and that's why like they said that like Roxanne was her first choice because Roxanne probably would be able to handle it better. But it's also just like a stark difference in who's actually, like I said, who's able to slow down and who like genuinely probably wants to. Like if Julia was to ever get called up, she would have to go to Raw just so I could see how that match would go. I feel like Julia and Kairi Sane, even though it's probably happened before somewhere, somebody can probably tell me. Probably it's already happened before, but
probably I would.
That in that setting, especially if say Asuka, Io, Kairi, Julia, all in one division, those matches are gonna bang. Like I don't care what type of configuration you give me, I'm eating it up. Like, that's just what it is. So I just feel like she should be doing more. Like Damage Control was good in the beginning, but just I don't know. It's just weird.
They never got over.
Yeah, or like they were over with Bayley in there because they were kind of just at first it had a purpose, and then as time went on, it was just like, okay, we kicked Bayley out. Now what do we do?
Flounder.
Yeah, because Yeah, like you said, they're talented, but group overall is just not ideal. What was after that? Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus.
Tiffy, Tiffy time and Trishy time, as they said.
Yeah, versus Nia Jax and was it the Poison Pixie?
Oh, Candice, yeah.
Yeah, the Poison. Yeah, I don't know why I almost called Alexa her nickname earlier, and I had to like refrain myself because I feel like they both had Pixie in their nickname at some point. Like one was evil and one was poisonous or something like that. But yep, Stratton and Stratus. That's a tongue twister. Ended up winning this tag team match. Me personally, it wasn't. I didn't expect to be blown away. Obviously, I mean, this is Trish's like 25th anniversary, which is
That's
amazing to
yeah.
think about because I didn't know that at all until they said it.
I
But
yeah. Considering she is like my age, doesn't. She's still solid. I wasn't expecting, peak Trish Stratus in the ring, but
she can
because
still do some. She can do
and
most. She can still do much of her
and
stuff for the most part.
yeah, she can do still a bunch of her stuff, but like I think the last time she was on, she didn't look very good, and I
Oh,
think
what was the last match? The Becky match?
it might have been. Um, but like this time, obviously, it's easier in a tag match. I'm not gonna lie about that. But like,
Oh yeah, a lot more time to rest and stuff.
there
Yeah.
was, yeah, there was no, you know, it was what it was. It was fine. Um,
Yeah.
I had mentioned it before we went live. Um, like Nia is leagues better than she used to be. Like I think anybody with a who watches anything could tell you that Nia is
Right.
leagues better than she used to be. Like she ain't hurting people anymore. But depending on who she's in there with, she's either going to like give it a go. If you can, you know, argue with the wall if you want to, if you don't agree with me, but it's true. Like when she's with certain people, Nia actually is solid.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not. She didn't screw up anything tonight. I'm not saying she did. She didn't botch anything, but it kind of looked like she just kind of phoned it in, and everybody else put in the heavy lifting, and it was okay. It
Yeah.
was okay. Didn't nothing, no ooh ah moments, but no flubs either, and I give them credit. Nobody botched anything. It was all clean. It was fine. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Little palate cleanse after that. It was fine.
Yeah. She
Again,
only got like two, three
again
more.
the crowd, yeah, because like Trish's hometown, Toronto, not that loud. It was kind of like but yeah, it's fine.
Hmm.
Nothing. No, I can't think of any wow moments. Like nobody did anything like there was no standout moment to me that I can think of.
Yeah. Hmm.
So obviously Trish or Tiffany is great, and you know what? Her the name of her finisher makes complete sense because she might actually do the best moonsault in the company.
Hmm.
So the name of it, the prettiest damn what is it? The prettiest damn
Oh yeah, the
moonsault ever,
PME.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
I'm not gonna
argue
lie.
she does
Didn't
it's the
yeah.
best. You can argue it's the best.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's like a toss. It's like damn. Cause I'm gonna lie. I feel like actually I forgot. I've seen this somewhere where they said Tiffany's looks the best, but EO's look like it would hurt more.
That's fair. I think, but in the execution and like
Yeah. From a
crispness
visual. Yeah.
crispness of it, like I haven't seen Tiffany do a moonsault that was looked off. or like missed. You know what I mean? Like she seems to
Yeah.
nail them all. Like the hop ups are good, the flip is good, the turnover is good, and she lands properly like all the time. So it is arguably the best.
Yeah, can't fault that. Yeah.
I just don't like what I don't like. The only thing I don't like about her is not her. To be honest with you, that's the only thing I'm not feeling with Tiffany right now. Is it's not Tiffany. It's not her attitude. It's not that she can't talk. And it certainly isn't her in-ring ability because she's great. But if she's going against Charlotte and nobody on the planet's going to cheer for Charlotte, then why is Tiffany kind of one moment like, you know what I mean? Like, it's Tiffany time is not going to, it needs to change. Or
But I mean,
like she has these, or she,
the thing with her
or
is
she
that like
has
she's a
these,
tweener. I think this is what
well,
this is what I think is where it's going with. Like depending on like who she's going at it with, that would predicate. Because I feel like she hasn't really turned completely. I just think like Nia was mad she got stabbed in the back, so now Tiff is face by default. But I don't think she's ever really like full on embraced fans yet.
no, she's been a baby face with the crowds for a while, and and right now she needs to be more. She can still act tweenerish and have a more determined, angrier attitude, and she can still say, and technically she can still say Tiffy time, but she could say it in a more serious tone because she's the baby face, and and a tweener doesn't really work against. Although I guess maybe if it was done in a better
Yeah.
way, executed better, because nobody wants to cheer for Charlotte. And I
Oh yeah, she's
said,
definitely the heel in this case.
I've said, well, because
Going into the
nobody,
Mania match.
because honestly, all the smart fans think Charlotte's just going to derail her title run and her push and beat her. And I don't know. Now, if Charlotte puts her over and Tiffany can go forward, and then maybe after that, Charlotte beats her for it, because maybe Charlotte, they played the story off like, oh, maybe Charlotte's lost a step because of the injury, and she isn't as good as she usually is, and she has to admit that maybe she's not as good as she was before. Then she'll get a little more sympathy, and fans won't hate her so much. Because it's like, oh, she lost. Oh, she's lost a step. Oh, she's not as good as she used to be. And then there can be some sympathy drawn from that. And Charlotte can, like, on TV, face some adversity to get to that point where she can beat Tiffany later for the belt and actually get cheered more. And Tiffany could actually be more tweener heel and Charlotte could be more babyface. But right now, everybody's like, oh, Charlotte's back again. So they're going to just put the title on her, yada, yada, yada. Nobody likes that. And if they do that, Tiffany's screwed, in my opinion. Because why put the belt on her? Why put the belt on her and her first real title defense, she loses? Regardless of the fact that, well, I mean, real defense. Let's be honest.
Wait,
like,
oh yeah,
real.
well, yeah, like pay per view. Because I mean, cause I think she had the Jax match. She had the Jax rematch that she won. I think she defended it against Bayley, but I mean, they were all SmackDown. But yeah.
But like, yeah, like her first major shot at showing like she's it. You're gonna have her, even if it doesn't matter. Even if it's a 30-minute banger. If she loses, it derails her.
Yeah.
Because
it also is like a thing.
That's just my opinion. I hope I hope beyond hope that Charlotte does the right thing and puts her over, and she can beat her later, and the crowds won't, and the fans won't care. Yeah. They'll stop booing her. They'll stop booing her, and you can literally make it into a storyline where Charlotte starts to doubt herself because of the coming back from the injury. She can't maybe she feigns like during the match, she aggravates an injury and she gives it her all and she loses. And then she starts to doubt herself like, I'm not fully back. I'm not what I once was, whatever it is, and like face some adversity and look vulnerable. And then people won't boo her, and then she can work her way back up to eventually face Tiffany again and then beat her. Tiffany looks like $1,000,000 and it doesn't hurt her to lose. And Charlotte won't be the most despised woman on the roster because she destroyed somebody's push, and it gives her a decent story to work with, and people will sympathize with her. And they won't care if she wins the title again at that point. That's what they should do, and that's what I hope they do. But it's Charlotte.
Yeah,
and Charlotte,
but I mean,
based on past history, Charlotte gets what Charlotte wants.
but there is like a similar situation for Tiffany that I feel like kind of is like what I think they might be kind of going for. It was when before she got called up, her and Becky had their like interactions or whatever, and they were like fighting over the NXT Women's Championship. At least I think it was the NXT Women's Championship at that time. There were times where I think people probably thought like, oh, Becky winning specific matches or a specific match would be like, oh, even though Tiff's in NXT, they probably would think like, oh, like maybe the expectations aren't that high. But I feel like these are like those testable moments for Tiffany, and like obviously I think they know that she's good. And then based off of the last time Charlotte was on a WrestleMania card, she was putting over Rhea. So I don't think it's gonna be a situation where like she.
Well, the last time Charlotte was on
right?
the last time Charlotte was on any card, she put over Rhea because
Yeah,
she
so
hurt
it's like,
herself.
yeah.
She hurt herself in that match, so she had to go.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so like at that point it's like it's one of those things where I feel like she kind of understands the legitimacy of her, Bailey, and Becky aren't gonna be there forever. So for her to just keep like respectfully taking like injury breaks, or she gets injured, she takes breaks, and she comes back and she keeps winning the belt. I think long term, she probably starts to realize that like, yeah, this isn't really good for business because like if she gets hurt again with the belt, then you basically go back to square one.
And I don't,
But
like I said, I don't care if I don't. The idea of her winning the belt again, or you know, getting to a point where she ties her dad because she's not going to break it. But if she wants, they want to get her to a point where she eventually ties her dad and then she retires because she's getting up there.
yeah,
Because but and I have no issue with her beating Tiffany for the title. It's not that specific part of it. It's doing it now.
yeah. But also, I don't know. I feel like at this point, like, because I've always kind of been over like the idea of it, like, because I get like Ric Flair doing it, it meant something. The 16-time champion. When Cena did it, people hated it, but now looking back on it, it probably was a lot more organic than like what people would remember it to be. Like obviously, it did seem like every time you looked up, Cena had the belt, but there were times where like he would just get dusted, and then he had to kind of like how you said, like work his way back up. I feel like with
Yeah.
Charlotte, it's like if they force another 16-time winner, the whole idea of it being like, oh, she's just winning so many belts, it's gonna mean less and less the more people join this club.
And let's not forget,
right next
there
to
was
12, right?
let's not forget. Nah, I think Charlotte's at like 14.
Yeah, I knew she was somewhere around like
But
the
the
teens,
difference,
but
yeah,
I couldn't really
but
know.
the difference with Cena is there was a period of time where like Cena was practically all they had,
Oh yeah, like
and
he was the only one that could carry the torch until they
but
built something
Cena,
else.
but Cena had no problem losing it because he allowed himself to get absolutely mollywopped by Brock Lesnar. He put the Miz over
At Mania,
at Mania, so it's not like he was just like, give me the belt and I'm going to keep it for a year and fuck everybody else. he was what they had, but when he lost, it made sense for him to lose, and it helped who beat him. Like I said, he put over. Brock comes back, and Brock like obliterates him. Who does that when they're the guy? Let somebody, regardless of it being Brock Lesnar, let Brock Lesnar just mollywop him.
No offense. Beat the shit out of him.
Exactly, but yeah, and at Mania he put the Miz over and made the Miz. So it's not like and even when he wasn't the world champion, like go back to like Carlito. Carlito's first match on TV, he beat Cena.
For the U.S. title, yeah.
Kevin Owens
and tried
beat him.
and tried to get Jesus over. It didn't work, but he tried.
I mean, so it is different. Cena's had the title a lot, but there were times where it was a necessity. But Cena had no problem putting people over.
Yeah,
somebody beating him, it would make them, and if they were already made, it made them better because he would lose and wouldn't bitch about it. Like Charlotte's not necessarily the same, where like, you know, if she's the champion, she's not putting over new people. She's putting over people who are already over. Yes, Rhea is far better now, and beating Charlotte certainly helped her. But Rhea wasn't just like a new call up, and Charlotte put her over. Rhea was already pretty sizably big with the fans when she did it, and now Rhea's just like the top. So yeah, it helped, but Rhea wasn't just it. Rhea and Charlotte putting over Rhea last year, and hopefully what happens this year, not the same. It's a much bigger deal if Charlotte puts over Tiffany this year than what Charlotte did last year with Rhea. Because Rhea is way more over than Tiffany is right now, and way more of a deal. So even if Rhea had lost and Charlotte got hurt and then had to like give up the belt, Rhea wasn't going to be worse for wear for losing that, but Tiffany will be. Because it'll look, if Charlotte wins, it doesn't matter if Tiffany looks like $1 million. They go for a half an hour, which I don't think they're going to get, and Charlotte beats her. Tiffany's going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess she's not a big deal because she didn't really have any title defenses. She didn't really beat anybody huge. And then she just lost to Charlotte and then got thrown back into the mix. And who knows when she'll get another title shot. Like the title reign won't mean anything, and it won't really cement her as a top level player and like a star because nobody made her one. She's doing it. She is a star in my opinion, but somebody needs to make her one. Somebody like Charlotte needs to make her. And I hope they do it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but given Charlotte's track record, a lot of people are skeptical that she'll do it.
Oh yeah, because like the only one that I can really think of from recent memory that like she truly, not even like trying to like hate on Charlotte or anything, like it's just like.
No, I'm not trying to hate on Charlotte because Charlotte is a phenomenal wrestler. She's phenomenal. Yeah. It's just she has her selfish moments because she's Charlotte Flair, and she gets what she wants. She has those moments. That's undeniable.
Like the only time I can think like she genuinely like from a fan perspective, you can say she fucked someone over was Asuka. Especially because she tapped out that year.
Agreed.
That was the main one where that was the first time I actually was pissed because
that was Asuka's undefeated. That was Asuka's undefeated streak.
Yeah, her undefeated streak and the championship. It was like that was the one where I'm like, this would have been the perfect time to be like, okay, well, Asuka's like Charlotte's great, but Asuka's like a notch above because she's been undefeated for I don't know how long. Like she ran through NXT, came up, won the belt, Mania. She's got the aura, and she's tapping out. It's one of
it was a why moment, and let's be honest. Since that happened, has Asuka been as big as she was at that point? Ever? No.
Yeah, not to that magnitude, no. Even with the
No.
rebrand, when it's like, okay, you were thinking like, okay, yeah, maybe the rebrand would bring her back up a little bit. It did for a second, and then they lost it again. So it's like not probably due to her own detriment. I think she got injured, maybe I don't know, but just yeah, it's a very very not tough situation for them to be in because obviously, well, hopefully they make the right decision, but it's very finicky. Cause I also look at like a guy like Melo, where people on the internet be like, "Oh, like they're tired of Carmelo losing." It's like people kind of forget that a lot of the guys, a lot of the women and guys that they're bringing up right now, they're like 25 minimum. They are gonna be there for a long time. So it's like if they're not
Yeah.
winning now, they're probably gonna be winning in 2028 or 2029, 2030. Like they're gonna be on the. As long as nothing goes wrong, these guys are gonna get more opportunities to be the guy or be the woman, be the man, be the woman, more or less, than say Charlotte and Becky, the people that are going to retire within the next 3 years. But
Yeah.
it does kind of depend on like the person. Like Asuka definitely needed it. Tiffany, hopefully she doesn't lose, but Tiff's like 20. She's like 25, 26
She
minimum.
does need it. She does need it though because I see it as kind of a burial, and her title reign meaningless if she loses. It doesn't matter if it's at WrestleMania or not. It's I it renders her title reign useless because what did she do with it? Not much. Now she
Yeah, from like a,
loses,
yeah
and
from a length standpoint, yeah.
if she lose, even if she loses it, and a month later in Saudi or wherever the hell they're going to be, or at Money in the Bank, Charlotte gets another shot and then beats her, I won't care. Because I'll be like, okay, fine, because she'll have had the title longer. She'll probably have defended it again against somebody else, while Charlotte earns her another shot at her. But in the meantime, she'll have the belt longer, and she'll have that moment where it's like, okay, she's solidified as a top tier talent and a main player because she actually beat Charlotte at WrestleMania and defended her title. And it wouldn't matter who else she defends the title against until she loses it to Charlotte later. She beat Charlotte. That makes her, and then her title reign makes her entire title reign worthwhile. Otherwise, it was just a title reign, and it didn't really
It's like a
mean
filler
much.
thing.
Yes, Tiffany's getting more over, but it's also like you're gonna look back on it and be like, what was the point of putting the belt on her then? Just to lose to Charlotte when she didn't accomplish much anything with the belt. At least if she beats Charlotte at WrestleMania, she could lose it whenever to Charlotte, but you can consider it a successful title run because she actually beat somebody
Yeah, of like
to
a
still to
yeah, of like a
solidify.
stature, yeah.
Yes. hmm Yeah. No. I mean, I'm not trying to be, you know, degrade any. I'm not trying to degrade anybody else that she wrestles, but like Charlotte's on a different level, and it makes it would it literally will make her for the rest of her career, even if she loses it a month later to Charlotte. This would make her career going forward because she had her moment at WrestleMania. She beat Charlotte. So no matter when she loses it or who she loses it to, she's still she's up there and she stays there because she won. If she loses, she could end up being mid card, and it could be. And if they shuffle the rosters, who knows when she'd get another title shot again? She might have to switch brands to get another title shot. We don't know. It could completely derail her for God knows how long. I just That's just my opinion. I think she needs to win. Charlotte can beat her some other time. Charlotte's not going to make any less money if that has anything to do with it. Charlotte's not going to make any less money if she loses. And they could literally play up a storyline where her injuries aren't completely healed, or she aggravates an injury, but she gives it her all and she loses, and you know holds Tiffany's hand up or hugs her or something at the end of the match or whatever it is, and then she starts to like doubt herself, or she doesn't she seems a little slower than she was. She doesn't seem as confident as she was, especially after she loses. And there's a story of like, maybe Charlotte's lost a step and she's got to get it back, and then she works her way back and wins. Cool. Nobody will boo her anymore, and nobody will care if she wins. And people will be fine with it. And it won't hurt Tiffany.
Yeah.
But
We'll see. Should be a pretty interesting road. And plus, they still got a little ways to go to build. Because so far, I mean, shoot, I think Charlotte's had the advantage
plus,
in
like
every
I said,
interaction too.
if you're gonna call more people up, there's still a mid card to build up too. And then if you got, like I said, Julia and Stephanie, it is not going to be long before they're on the main roster. They're not going to stick in. They're not going to stay in NXT for like the next year. And obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Roxanne's basically called up now. Like she's in, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have more people to build up, and you don't put Roxanne in an elimination chamber with like the heavy hitters, and then put her back in NXT,
right
and then call her up in a month or so and put her in the mid card. Like, what's the point of putting her in with the heavy hitters and making her look good, and having her look as good as she did, and beat Bayley just to do that? Like, what's the point? She's got to be in the upper part. I wouldn't have a problem with her like going to Raw and like winning the Intercontinental title and like having a long reign with the title and just whooping up on everybody and then moving up. It would make some sense if there's a log jam. It would make a little sense because then she could dominate everybody and put somebody over, and then she could make somebody a big deal, whoever beats her, and legitimize the belt temporarily.
Yeah.
But you can't just have her like send her back to NXT, call her up, and then have her like flounder. She's got to be
just be in there. Yeah.
You've already presented her on the main roster as a big deal. You can't put her down and bring her up and not make her a big deal.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm been rambling about with Tiffany. Like, Tiffany's a big deal. Don't make her not a big deal by having her lose just because it's Charlotte and it's WrestleMania. Doesn't matter. Charlotte can beat her fine later.
Yeah, like
Because what are they? I
build,
think
build the future essentially.
Because what's after WrestleMania? Is it one of those 3 Saudi shows?
That I'd have to check.
Because there's three Saudi shows this year. I'm not even going to go into like the Royal Rumble being there next year, but like there's 3 Saudi shows this year. I think the next PLE after WrestleMania, I think, is a Saudi show, and then there's Money. Then Money in the Bank? Isn't that Money in the Bank's June?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, technically, Backlash is like that midpoint. There's a Saturday night main event.
WrestleMania Backlash. Yeah, if they do it, but I would be willing to bet Saudi show. One of the 3.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Honestly.
or at least Money in the Bank, or at least I know Money in the Bank is like a little bit after that, but I think like if anything, like that bridging point would be Backlash, and then cause they said the draft is somewhere in between there. I think.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let me look real quick. Because now I'm curious about this like whole scenario. Okay, so the draft is being listed as April, but are they literally going to do it like the week after WrestleMania? Could be. Okay, so you got May 24th, Saturday night's main event. WrestleMania Backlash is May, but it doesn't say.
Like maybe like a day. Yeah, I don't think I have like a day for it yet. Or like
Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank's June. So do that.
Yeah.
Although I guess if you really wanted to, like, at least let Tiffany win at WrestleMania, and then, like, do up a story where Charlotte seems like she's lost it. And she's not as good as she used to be, and she starts believing she's not as good as she used to be and redeem herself. Or even at WrestleMania Backlash a month later, Charlotte can win, and it won't be as big a deal. I just think Tiffany should win, and if she doesn't, I think it kind of kills her. But anyway, enough rambling about that. We'll find out.
Yeah, in due time. In due time.
We'll find out in a month. We'll find out next month.
Yeah. What's up? Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the unsanctioned match.
Lord Jesus, that match was good.
Yeah, I was like, just from at least from like obviously like just gonna break the fourth wall here because fuck it. From the Kevin Steen El Generico arc that those two gentlemen have been on, wrestling all over Canada, to be in arguably the biggest arena in Canada against each other had to definitely be a very special moment for both of them. And for this to be unsanctioned, good lord, were they
beat the shit out of it. They beat the shit out of each other. I loved it.
Yeah, and like granted, obviously they both came in very banged up. Sami taking the pile driver, his neck was fucked. Kevin Owens still was selling the effects of what was it, like an Alabama slam through the ladder?
Oh yeah, the Rumble, the match with Cody.
Yeah, selling the effects from the Rumble match. So like neither of them were 100%, but you could tell it probably came down to like who was gonna get grimier, which obviously was gonna be Kevin.
Kevin, yeah.
Power bottom on the apron 3 times, or I think so.
I actually thought they were gonna go, as far as the pummeling goes. I thought they were gonna go a little bit harder on it. But they made the most of every little bit of pummeling they did with the chairs and the barbed wire chair and the power bombs on the apron and the targeting Sami's neck, and then like the fisherman suplex driver on the chairs, and Sami doing the Blue Thunder on it, like that stuff.
On the barbed wire chair, yeah, that was a fire.
That was sick. That was sick. And then like the chair around his neck, Sami's neck being like shoved into the ring post, whatever it is. I only have one minor little thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they had the barbed wire chair and they were using chairs and they were going through tables and they were pummeling each other like that, not one drop of blood.
That is an interesting thing. Like, nobody bled, at least, like, visibly. Like, maybe KO was bleeding under the shirt. Maybe. But, yeah, no blood is actually crazy.
No blood? I'm not saying they had to both gush like an ECW, type of a match, or like an old school ECW match. I'm not saying they had to, like, both gush. But after all that, neither one of them bled a drop?
It definitely would have sold the hatred too, because at least the way they were building it up and saying like you couldn't even have recovery, make them bleed.
You couldn't even have given Sami like a blood capsule, especially after he had the chair wrapped around his neck twice and pushed into the ring post, where like Sami could have popped a blood capsule and like at least make it look like his mouth was bleeding because his throat was hurt further from having a chair wrapped around his neck and shoved into the post. So it seemed like maybe his like larynx was crushed or his trachea was crushed and he was bleeding from the mouth because of it. Something, but no blood. With all that brutality, no blood.
Yeah, like it was like the most nicest, brutalist match I've ever seen.
It made no sense that was no blood, but the end of the show was blood. Not that the end of the show shouldn't have. I'm not saying the end of the show there shouldn't have been any, but like.
You think maybe that's why they held it? Because they were going to make him bleed out
too much? Maybe because it was they thought it might have been too much blood, but none. You could have at least, like I said, you could have at least had something where like Sami had a capsule or something like they do. Sorry, kayfabe. But like Sami had a capsule, but like after the two chairs around the neck and shoved into the post, you could have had Sami bite open a blood capsule and at least bleed from his mouth, like, oh, he might have crushed his trachea or he might have hurt his larynx or something like that. And the announce team could have played that up. That would have at least made sense. The stuff with Owens in his face, you couldn't have like had him just tiny little something on his eye. Nothing. It made no sense. I'm not, like I said, the match was great. The match was great.
Yeah.
And honestly, I actually thought, I get it. I get the booking. The way I envisioned it, because now we're going to spoil Randy Orton's back.
Right.
I thought Randy would come out, RKO Owens, and or punt him, which didn't happen, and Sami would win. But I understand it because they'll probably write Sami off for a while. This is what my guess is. They're going to write Sami off for a while. Sami's going to take a break. Sami may not even be on WrestleMania, possibly. But if you're going to do Randy and Kevin at WrestleMania, Randy's, I think everybody would say Randy's going over. But
for the sake of it, yeah.
Owens needed to win because Owens has been losing. So Owens needed to win to look like the evil, dastardly, body-killing, ruthless, heartless bastard heel that he is. If he would have lost and then he builds a feud with Orton for WrestleMania and then loses again, what's the point? So I get the booking there. I just thought it was going to be like Randy would help Sami. But I get it.
Just make him lose during the match, then rather than.
But I get it because if they're gonna go at WrestleMania, which I would assume that's what it's going to be Randy and Owens, and Randy's going to probably win. Then you can't have Owens lose here again and then lose again, because what's the point of this really awesome gimmick he's got going on, where he's saying all these things that are making him a heel. And he's doing all these things that are heel-like, except he's kind of right about everything he's saying.
Which makes me think, kind of, like, and it's kind of like not trying to derail too much, but it makes me think if Drew's fully on SmackDown at this point, Kevin on Raw makes sense, just for the simple fact of, like, for one, I feel like Kevin has done his best work on Raw outside of, like, the Shane McMahon stuff from 2018 or whatever.
Yeah, but you know what else? But you know what else makes sense?
What?
Is a lot of the stuff Drew is saying about people. He's a heel. Him and Kevin are both heels, but a lot of the stuff they're saying about the baby faces that they don't like, the Romans, the Punks, Sami.
It's mostly true.
It's true. They're right.
Yeah.
But they're the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So but if both of them are basically saying the same kind of stuff, why not put them together?
They could be a dastardly duo. Kind of like
because they would
like Awesome
Owens. I mean, not even so much that, but they way more badass because Owens is ruthless and brutal. Drew certainly can be, so they would have that commonality. They could work together as a team, and they think the same. So why couldn't they? Why couldn't they be like a sort of like? I'm not saying like the 2-man power trip. I'm not saying that, but like
that could go down.
The whole like 2-man martyr group or whatever. 2 martyrs, but yet they're right. But at the end of the day, they're right. So when they actually turn babyface again, people are going to start to see that they were right.
Yeah, like it's made sense the entire time.
Because they're right. But nobody's cheering them, even though they're right.
Yeah. But people have kind of been pointing that out too, especially for Drew, because Drew literally has not. Drew literally goes out there every week and gives flat out like the very like transparent view of like half the people on the roster, and people just tell him to stop complaining and stop bitching. It's like one of the most craziest things to have, where it's like, yo, he's saying too much truthful stuff, where it's like they want them to believe that like, yo, he's full of
But you
hot
get the
air. Like we're
occasional,
see what we're doing.
but you do get the occasional like clapback, like Priest last night did, where
Oh yeah,
like you know
Priest was saying like, yo, like your obsession helped me beat your ass, and it was kind of funny because it was like he wasn't wrong there either. So
he was right, but
yeah,
that's the kind of clapback you need to keep someone like Drew balanced as a heel, where he's speaking truth, but then somebody needs to speak the truth back to him in a way. It's like, well, you might be right about a lot of stuff, but you're also a stupid ass, and your obsession is costing you opportunities. You might be right about some stuff, but you're also wrong, very wrong, and that kind of clapback works. There needs to be more of that instead
oh
of
yeah,
just trading insults with
definitely
people.
definitely they're gonna have to try to like balance it out more, because even if it is even if it's to the extent of like even Priest doing what he's doing as far as like being like, oh well, your obsession has cost you gold and all these things, like stuff that actually like would point out the hypocrisy in the evilness of what he's doing, as far as you had the championship, you kind of completed your story, and then you choked it. Like those type of things
It's
have
it
to keep the
it's
balance.
pointing out. It's not necessarily pointing out the hypocrisy of like everything he's saying because he's telling truth. It's pointing out the hypocrisy of how he's handling it,
Yeah,
and that keeps him. That keeps up the heel heat, and that keeps the heel persona stronger because it's like, well, he's saying some things that are true, but the way he's going about things,
the way he's treating
and
it is wrong.
and
But
bombing out needs to be pointed out because for as much as he's right, he's also wrong in how he handles it.
yeah,
Because yeah, talking about the same stuff over and over again, okay, you might be right, but like we're over it. Like move
yeah,
on. And then yeah, but then you've also turned around and cost yourself because you're too obsessed with being right and you're not doing right. Simple promo, like Priest nailed it. Like more people need to do what Priest did. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, you might be right,
Just point out how he's screwing himself over by
but
complaining
you're
every week.
so but you're so singularly focused. That's why you won the world title, and then I cashed in and beat your ass and took it.
Yeah,
So
straight to the point.
you're costing yourself just as much as you think you might be gaining. Simple shit like
Yeah,
that. Priest nailed it. There needs to be more of that instead of just trading insults.
yeah. Look,
Fantasy booking. Sorry,
fantasy
everyone.
book.
We're fantasy
Fantasy.
booking here.
I'm not gonna lie. Just for this being the setting the table episode, this is probably gonna happen a lot.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of moments where like, well, like a lot of I'm sure like a lot of other people in the
In the
wrestling
space.
community and the podcast community. Well, if they'll probably say something like, well, if I had the pen,
Yeah, like if I was booking,
if
like this is just
exactly,
normal. Half of this is
if I
probably
was
not
booking
gonna
this shit,
happen. Yeah, that's just the way of the land.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but shoot, what's that? The men's elimination chamber match. Um, John Cena,
Not
Drew
as not
McIntyre,
as
CM Punk.
overall, not overall, yeah, overall not as good as the women's, but
Had some
hell of
moments.
a second half. Hell of a second half. Yeah, there were some good moments. Yeah, it was yeah, it was uh oh yeah, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Punk and Cena in the chambers, and Rollins
Uh,
and Drew started. That's why I think it was kind of a slow start because they seemed a little off. Nobody flubbed anything, but they seemed a little off. I
yeah.
I think it kind of really picked up um, once Cena got in,
Yeah,
because
came out
Punk
the
was
pod,
last.
came out
Because Punk was
swinging.
last.
Yeah,
Once Cena got in there, it kind of picked up a little bit because you know Logan's full time and he helped out a little bit, but it kind of dragged until like more or less everybody was in there. It kind of dragged. It was a little slow.
yeah. Which in a weird way to me, I'm not gonna lie. For as crazy as it's gonna sound, for a wrestler like Logan who like does a lot of like, as much as he's a celebrity wrestler, like turned full timer, he does a lot of like, not even in an offensive way. He does a lot of indie shit. Like he does a lot of flips. He literally does the buckshot lariat. His new finisher that he did on Rey Mysterio. I think somebody in Japan does that move. I don't know who he's learning from, but he's watching some shit. So it's like him in the ring with
Yeah,
guys that are not only bigger than him, but a lot slower at this stage in their career than he would probably
that's
be able
true,
to like
and
pace with.
I
It's hard.
actually think either he was on Undertaker's podcast or Undertaker was on his, and Undertaker
Yeah.
actually told him he should slow down with that kind of stuff. And I think
Yeah.
he will. I think he will, but I think part of it is him trying to be like his shtick. Like he's
He
the
basically a show
cocky
off.
heel,
Yeah.
cocky heel show off. So he can just do any. He thinks he can do anything to anyone, and with more reps, he'll be able to put together more
Yeah.
stuff.
It'll balance out between like knowing when to do it. Like when he had the Roman match, I mean, it makes sense for him to be flying all over the place because you're not gonna outpower Roman Reigns. So like you jumping and shit makes sense against Roman Reigns. You probably don't have to
Well,
go
even
at
this,
flipping
but even
baby priest or something like that.
his qualifier match was well well thought, well put together.
Yeah, because it
He
makes
wasn't
sense.
flying all
Like
over the place, but it was also Ray, and Ray could make a corpse. He could carry a corpse to like a 4.5 star match. So I
yeah,
mean,
and plus like you said, like depending on who he's in the ring with, like which is why like I said like the new finisher. I don't know if that's it could. I don't know if it's gonna work on everybody. I doubt it because he's flipping them over. But it's like the
I don't have a problem with it.
yeah, it's like the pacing of it. You definitely have to have like the right size this discrepancy to make Logan's matches work. Like if he's fighting against big guys, by all means, pull out your moonsaults, the buckshot, whatever. Do what you got to do. But if you're fighting like Chad Gable or something, like a guy that's like shorter than you, you're still kind of equal in strength, but not OD. You know, just wrestle a bruiser style. Flip him around. You know, like but yeah, like I said, with time and reps of him being full time Rhodes, house shows and everything, it'll click better. So,
Yeah,
because
but like
even
I said,
Taker kind of did that in the beginning.
but like I said, once the ring started to fill up, it picked up. It was kind of slow at the beginning. Um, Drew and Seth, they kind of start they no, like I said, nobody botched anything, but they were a little clunky to start. Like I don't really think they knew what to do, and they were just kind of like biding time till somebody else got in there.
Yeah,
And is it me? Is it only me, or I'm not saying he phoned it in. I'm not implying that. But is it
right.
me, or did like Priest seem a little off tonight? Like he was just slow
I mean,
because he didn't seem too
it.
heavily involved, and he didn't seem like himself. That's
I mean, as weird as it sounds, like, because of course like, you had like the Rumble shit, where apparently now it could be like them just like turning a mistake into a story, where like I guess like Priest eliminated McIntyre prematurely. So maybe it was like some
hmm
hesitancy to where it's like, maybe he doesn't want to like, overextend and say he eliminates somebody too early again. Maybe that type of thing. Or like certain spots, he didn't want to pick them because of that type of scenario. But
I mean, not even in the elimination part. It was just, I don't know. I don't want to go as far
his
as say
movement was
like,
kind of.
yeah, his movement was kind of, Maybe it was deliberate, but like his movement, everybody seemed to be like a little, at least to a degree, a little bit faster than he was moving. I don't know if there's an issue or whatever it was. It just seemed like he was off a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, you know,
He is the bigger guy in the
given,
ring.
but also let's be honest. Like the most realistic options were the four other guys. So maybe it was just sort of laid out that way, where
Oh yeah,
he could get some
like you
stuff in, and
yeah.
then he'll get some stuff in, and then he'll get some stuff in. He won't look like a chump, and then he'll be eliminated, and that'll be that because obviously it's not going to be him.
Yeah. Like more so
So
the
once
hype was in the other competitors.
the first shock to me was Drew being the first one out. I'm assuming this
Mm.
is going to play. This is playing into something because the Royal Rumble elimination was a little odd. I know there was a bit of a boo boo involved in not the elimination itself, but like that mix up that they actually put on. They made into part of TV
Yeah.
because of. Um, but This has to be playing into something because Drew being the first one eliminated. Like why?
Yeah. It almost had like remember the Kurt Angle. It was like the chamber with Cena, Michaels, Masters, Carlito, Kane, and who else was in it? What was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like 2006,
But
2006,
is this
2006
setting? Is this setting? But now this is twice in a row. Is this setting up? Is this just basically setting
for the
up
Mania match.
Priest and Drew because like Drew's gonna go psycho that he got beat like that because he did, and Priest is just like, I got your number, bud. I got your number, bud. And then they have a WrestleMania match that just because, and obviously Drew will win
Yeah,
unless they're
it could be
doing
one of those
something.
like just like passive aggressive matches. Like Priest ain't really got nothing planned. McIntyre's tired of him getting in his business. He handles him, goes back to something else.
Yeah, I guess. I just think I didn't. I'm just surprised he was first
Yeah, but what? Yeah, but
because
yeah,
pre,
kind of like that noise. Like the person with the most approved getting put out first is it's kind of like weird when you think about it because McIntyre had the most to say about even Cena specifically, and then the final three doesn't involve McIntyre. It's kind
I was
of
gonna say
you would
because
think Cena would
like Priest pinned him, and then didn't he turn around and like Claymore him?
yeah like as soon as he got eliminated he got
He
up kicked
Claymore
him and then
he Claymored him, and
Claymore
then
kicked him.
Logan Paul went up to the top of the chamber, and Frog splashed Priest, took him out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then Logan got taken out, which I I saw him being taken out by Punk coming a mile away after Monday, and
oh
then
yeah
the
after
way
he
he
punched
talked
him.
Friday after, and then Friday it was like, yeah, Punk's gonna be the one that takes him,
Yeah,
and then he
but
did, and then
yeah. The final three, at least ending wise, which is going to transition right into the closing part of it, really kind of foreshadowed, I guess, the idea of like what John eventually ended up doing. Because I mean, technically, even in this scenario, so I'm assuming Punk eliminated Rollins. At least I'm assuming in this scenario, because I kind of missed this part.
no, actually, well, okay, so what happened was is that they were like all fighting each other, and then Punk hit a GTS on Rollins, who stumbled into an attitude adjustment from Cena, and then Punk pinned him.
Okay.
So he took both finishers and then to pin, so he didn't look bad. And then
Yeah.
instead of leaving the cage, he did what he did to Punk to screw Punk
Yeah.
when it was the
Curb
two of
stomped
them
him into the
left.
grid. Yeah.
Yeah, Kerm stopped him into the ground when he was hanging outside the rope, which Cena used as his opportunity to lock in the yeah,
Yeah, the STF.
and
And then
the
I guess you say
STF,
Punk.
and Punk
Yeah.
passed out. He passed out.
Yeah, which kind of keeps both of
Mm.
them strong in a safe way. Like Rollins getting hit with two finishers keeps him looking sturdy, and then Punk basically passing out instead of tapping out.
After being
So
stomped into the concrete, yes, and
yeah,
because it wasn't like he immediately passed out.
yeah, he fought a little bit, little Stone Cold vibe, fought a little bit.
Bare a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, like he didn't immediately pass out. Like he fought a little, and then his eyes closed, and that was it.
yeah.
And Cena wins, and then holy shit.
The turn of the night, ladies and gentlemen, that people are going to be talking about for the next couple of days. I would assume the next weeks.
Oh,
weeks
they're gonna
to
be
come,
talking this.
honestly.
They're gonna be talking. Yeah, they're gonna be talking about this for a while because like he wins, which isn't the biggest shock in the world, but it was a bit of a shock that Cena won, and then Cody comes right out, which is like
Yeah.
okay.
Like John's
Cody's
still in
gonna
the ring, by the way. I forgot about this
yeah,
myself.
Cena was still in the ring. I'm thinking Cody's gonna come out, congratulate him. Cena's gonna walk away. Cody's gonna stand in the ring, do his whoa thing like the crowd does, and then The Rock's gonna come out, and they're gonna have their segment to end the show. No, they do their talking thing, and The Rock comes out with Travis Scott,
Right? Fiend
and
playing in the background.
I'm just like, you know, I'm not. I didn't see the turn. I didn't see it going that way. I'm just like, why? What is this going to be? Is this going to be? I actually thought it would be like somebody else would come out and both Cena and Cody were going to get beat. That would seem to me the most
Yeah.
logical way that was going to end. And
Like
then
someone else is going to make the deal
Cody's
instead.
Rock does his spiel. I want your soul. I'm going to give you everything. You're going to hug me, and if if not,
His dreams would die again.
yeah, right. And
Which is a crazy line, by the way, that your dream will die again because he's lost the American dream, and now his dream
yeah,
of
that
being
was
champion will die.
that
That's hard.
that was cold. That was cold. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
surprisingly enough, Cody says this thing. His babyface thing. His soul's with the belt and with the people, and shockingly enough, he says, "Rock, go fuck yourself." And I'm just like,
And that got the crowd to cook.
that got a lot of people
Crowd,
cook.
yeah.
I audibly in front of my TV go, "What the fuck?" Myself, like,
Yeah.
did they? What am I watching?
Like he said it was mad stern. Then it's like you can see in Rock's face, he expected. So he expected him to say no.
Well,
Which
I expected a no,
inevitably
but I don't think he didn't. I don't think he expected a stern, very
go fuck
audible
yourself.
"Go fuck yourself." And I'm just because I sure as hell wasn't. I was like, "What did I just?
Definitely
What did
not.
I just hear?" And
Yeah,
then
that was John's in the background hyping it up, he's gassing it. Travis Scott is just faded in the corner, by the way. I don't know if anybody really
yeah,
is gonna like pay attention
yeah,
to Travis, but he's in the corner,
he
he's
was.
faded.
Yep.
Then like Cena's jumping in the background, doing his usual shtick. There's something people don't like, where it's like he's not
Rock,
a wrestler
yeah,
and he's jumping around.
and then Rock just stands there and like Cody turns and like Cena hugs him like he did a good job or whatever it is, and
Yeah,
then
gave him a dab up for standing up for himself.
and then but see, I'm gonna call the screw up there because they did the opposite of what they should have done. Is Cena hugs Cody and Cena smiles and then his face goes blank in the camera, and then then it shows The Rock do the throat slash. What should have happened is Cena should hug Cody, smiling like good job talking to him. You go to The Rock. The Rock does the throat slash. Then Cena's face goes blank. Then
And then you get
what
the
happened
turn.
happened.
Yeah.
Instead, Cena's face goes blank, and I'm like, oh no. And then
Yeah,
you
like
get a quick throat. you get a quick throat slash like, oh shit, they fucked up the camera shot, because I think they kind of fucked up the camera shot because they went when the camera went to the Rock,
Rock
he was
first.
already doing it. He was already doing the throat slash when the camera
halfway up his neck. Yeah.
he was already doing it when the camera went to the Rock. I'm like, that wasn't how that was supposed to go. And then
Yeah.
the nut shot, and then it's like, holy shit, Cena turned.
The world has turned. Yeah, the world has turned upside down. First, and from a history standpoint, right? This is the first time Cena has been heel since 2003.
And that's
this is insane to think about.
And that's arguable if you really want to look at it in terms of like his
Full
level.
blown.
His level.
Level was.
Given his level, this is his first heel turn, and at the oddest time humanly possible. Not even at the height of his popularity. This is like his retirement tour, and he turns heel.
Hurrah. It's just very interesting. Like,
and Cody gets the crap beat out of him. Yes, and
punched him with the Rolex
multiple times.
Face of the Rolex.
Yep, multiple times.
At a certain point, I'm like, Cena's just hitting him with everything in the ring, because it's like at first he was giving him hands, then he said, "Fuck it, give me the watch." Hits him with the watch. Then he picked up the belt, hit him with the belt. Then they just started whipping him. It's like,
I think he hit him with the belt like 3 times.
Yeah, he hit him a few times with the belt, and then Rock pulls out the custom belt.
And then I think Travis Scott screwed up something, because then Cena like knelt down and like planted his face on the ground.
Yeah, but I say Travis was like picking him up. Like, I don't know if he's supposed to talk to him and then put him down, or if like Travis, like you said, like just didn't know what they were doing to him, and then Cena just in stride was like, "No, we're whipping him," and put his face in the mat. So.
And then Rock whipped him with the Cody soul belt, like he would. In essence, he kind of took his soul anyway.
Yeah,
I think that was sort of like
the Mania beatdown. He wiped blood on the belt.
Yeah, and then they put the blood on the belt, and I'm just like, and then they walk out of the ring. Cody's a bloody mess, and seeing a heel John Cena standing next to the Rock, like I'm just like, what did I just see? What the hell just happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like not even to forget like Cole. Cole sold it perfectly. Even Cole started cursing at the desk.
Yep.
Saying like, "Yo, like Cena, after everything you've done, you're gonna pull this shit. Like, what's up?" Like, it was everybody was so rabbled.
Another shocker. Like, you got to give Rock credit. That weird promo was like, what the hell is he going on about? But he did say, when he rambled a little bit when he was on NXT, he might have been a little inebriated possibly when he did that promo. I'm just maybe.
Yeah, but he did say,
but he did say, everybody shut your mouth and enjoy the ride. The Rock's going to take you on because I'm 10 steps ahead of you. And you know what?
Basically saying, don't try to predict anything that I'm finna do, because you're not going to get it.
Because that was a fucking wow moment where, like, go fuck yourself. And then even Michael Cole says, you're going to pull this shit? And I'm just like...
holy...
Pat McAfee
it'll make you think nobody knew what was going to happen. Like, Cole was, like, genuinely, like, pissed at the death.
He seemed like legitimately hurt. And you would think... Yeah. If one of them is going to curse, it's going to be McAfee, because McAfee damn near curses all the time but doesn't do it. And then
pretty much
you flip the script, and you literally have Michael Cole, who is real life close to John Cena, and hypes up John Cena as the GOAT all the time.
Both of them.
And all the time. Yeah, and he hypes up John Cena as the GOAT, saying literally what he says, like, after all you've been through, you pull this shit. And I'm just like, what is going on here? But that's...
that brought the feel back. That's the stuff that makes you like that stuff that makes you can't wait for a Monday or a Friday.
Yes,
like those moments where it's like, damn, what's John gonna say next week? What's Cody gonna say next week?
Because now it's like John Cena just turned heel. What happens? What's going on with that? What's going to happen next? What is Cody going to do? what's happening with Punk now and Rollins? What is Roman going to do now? Like,
Yeah,
yes,
but I say like is
now
Roman
all
the
of a
odd
sudden,
man
like,
out here?
what is WrestleMania going to be now? Because technically, we don't know 100% other than Cena's got the title match, but is it only Cena?
Yeah,
Now there's more questions, but that's fun. And now you can hype up WrestleMania season because if you even if it's just Cena and Cody, you know it's not just going to be Cena against Cody. Rock is going to be
yeah.
involved. So now you know that. So now you're getting more WrestleMania hype. But now, holy shit, I got to watch wrestling this. I got to watch Raw and SmackDown this week because holy shit, what's going on?
Yeah, like it's like now it's like I mean, we talked about this a little bit like vaguely before we started. Do you get the Stone Cold cameo to even it out? Because who's really gonna be able to help Cody come Mania with all the like terms and injuries that are happening to the people that would be able to help him?
If
Do
like
you get a legend, another legend, like maybe DDP? Like who knows? I don't know. Like
I mean, but realistically, that's Cena's first win in how long?
oh, that's his first win in like 3 years, 2 years. Cause I forgot what he said like how long it's
As
been,
as a singles
but
competitor. It's his first. I think it's his
yeah.
first win in almost 8 years as a singles competitor.
Oh yeah, 8 years. Yeah, because I remember like they said after he lost to Solo, it extended his losing streak because he
Right.
hadn't won in a
And
while.
so clearly, even if it's just Cena and Cody, I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not 100% sure about that yet. Clearly,
Right.
it's still John Cena. Okay, he now is a heel. He's the Rock's champion. He's not going to all of a sudden be like Roman Reigns level OP because it wouldn't make any sense for him to be that all of a sudden. So obviously, if it's
But
just Cena and Cody, it's not going to be a straight up match. Is it a street
it'll probably be a
fight?
fight.
Does
Yeah.
or does Rock like we did last year? Do we bloodline rules it because Rock says so?
Yeah. Like it's
Because
like
maybe he has his bloodline again, and then to your point, who the hell is going to help Cody now? Because
yeah. It's like that's the real
All the
question.
people that help Cody have questioned
Right.
Cody's motives, have questioned his decisions because he turned around and teamed with Roman, so they're not necessarily with him or they're hurt. So who's going to help him?
Yeah, but I like Jay's preoccupied, trying to win his own championship. Sammy's on the
I
shelf.
mean, Jay could help him technically is a possibility, maybe,
Yeah. Depending on
but
what night. But I think Gunther Jay will probably. Would it be
Jay
night
that'll be
two?
night. That I don't think they put both world title matches on the same night.
Oh yeah, probably not. Cause yeah, I think Drew Seth was night one last year. Yeah.
And if they don't, if they're really not giving Punk a main event, then Jay Gunther should main event night
Main
one
event night one. Yeah.
because Jay's going to win, and that's that Bryan Danielson Kofi kind of moment, probably
Bring the field
possibly
back.
even bigger than those two moments. You got that probably has to main event
Oh yeah,
because of the moment.
In Vegas, Yeaton with all those fans. Maybe Jimmy comes
Yeah,
out, cries. I might cry.
yeah.
What I'm saying?
I don't.
Hey.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. But I mean, Jay could help if it's one of those. Jimmy could.
Yeah.
Roman could get involved if he just like this isn't right. This is against the family. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Because he's
I feel
no.
like if Roman does get involved, he'll step to The Rock. Like The
Because
Rock and The
Roman
Rock
doesn't.
alone.
Because well, yeah, but Roman's not exactly the biggest fan of Cena either. They have a
True.
history, and Cena came back to try to take Roman out and failed. So Roman
Yeah.
doesn't love Cena anyway. Now I'm sure he couldn't love this.
He really probably won't care now because it's like your champion is going to be Cena over me. But not like it's like we said
That
earlier,
could
like going back to SmackDown. If Cena and Rock show up Friday, Roman's definitely not going to be too far behind. and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, because Roman's got to be like, what, what?
Like what are we
Especially
doing
if
here? Like,
is the blood, especially if like he tries to get the blood. What if he tries to get Jimmy and Solo and like the whole family like with him on this? But then again, like Jimmy's like, this is not how the family works, Oos. Blah 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 blah. Like you don't. Why would you not pick family? And maybe
yeah,
like I said, maybe Hikuleo debut soon or Zilla debut soon, and with Jacob and uh, Tama, and they.
yeah, Tonka
I'm
yeah.
assuming I'm assuming Solo's going to be kicked out because
It's
I'm
inevitable,
thinking probably
yeah,
Jacob.
especially from the promos they're
I,
cutting. Like Tama and
I'm
Jacob look like they're
thinking
ready to leave.
they're gonna bounce Solo,
Yeah,
um and then that's probably Mania. It's probably Jacob Solo,
yeah,
um,
and they
which means then Solo either is by himself caught in the middle, or he tries to crawl his way back to Roman
yeah,
Jimmy Solo, and then like I said, if somebody else debuts, then the bloodline is with The Rock, which means the bloodline protects The Rock's champion, and
man,
then
that's a
that's
weird
how you get
scenario. Jacob
and
protecting
and
Cena.
well,
That'd
but
be
The Rock is
nutty. Yeah.
but you don't remember they did that promo thing. I don't remember how long ago it was, but they did that promo thing, and I think they showed a little bit of it again in a like reel in a highlight package, hyping up the show because The Rock was going to be on, where they had like that Samoan ceremony where The Rock was pronounced. He's the final boss, but he was pronounced the High Chief.
Oh, you talking about like the rain, like the Mania? It was like the Mania press conference where they had like the family tree.
Yeah, but they showed it. They've showed it again recently, where like he
Yeah.
had they did the ceremony where he was like pronounced the High Chief of the family.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
so the bloodline could be his, where he's the High Chief, and that's above the Tribal Chief. So the battle lines are drawn there, and because he's the High Chief, and
that
at
that
least
overrides.
at the
Yeah.
moment, Cena is his champion. Maybe he doesn't stay his champion. Maybe he gets screwed over because Rock realizes he can't get the job done. Maybe we can go into that another time because there's a
Right.
possibility there. But in the meantime, leading up, if he's the High Chief's chosen champion, maybe not everybody in the family loves that, but the orders could be, because Rock's not going to be on every show for the next 2 months. We know this. He might appear on a show this week, possibly, but
Yeah.
he's not going to be on every show until Mania. We know, but the orders could be from the High Chief. This is my champion. You protect him, so
Yeah.
that if somebody else, and I think somebody else should debut if um, Tonga isn't back from injury before WrestleMania. He could come back, but they could still debut somebody, and then literally that's like the bloodline is by orders of the High Chief protects protects his champion, even if they don't like it. The High Chief gives the orders, they follow, they protect his champion
Yeah.
because he would be vulnerable by himself, and then it would be odd to have the bloodline protecting John Cena against Cody or whoever, but it would be compelling television, and then that's how you get Roman involved because Roman's like,
That'll
oh hell no,
that'll
no,
probably
I
be what
run
gets
this.
Solo out because Solo beat John like
Well,
a couple years back. So
Solo's gonna probably be out before that, I would think.
yeah. Because I feel like at that
I
point,
mean,
like
they don't need.
if someone tells Solo like, "Yo, protect John," and then Solo standing there like, "Yo, I beat his ass. Like,
No,
why are we protecting this guy?" Like that would probably be a
it
more
could
sensible
be,
way to pack him up.
but the way they're disagreeing, and Solo's trying too hard to like keep the family together, and he keeps telling Jacob that he loves him, and Jacob's saying nothing.
Yeah, he's gonna push him
So,
away. But
but you all, but if you're gonna have Jacob and Solo at Mania, you don't need 2 months to build it,
really,
unless
yeah, because yeah,
unless So unless Solo goes crawling back to Roman's side first,
Yeah,
after
kind
he
of
gets
like a pick
beat
up the pieces
down,
thing.
he tries to work his way back to regain the trust of Roman. And there's your build for that match. But that could be how, like, all of this could be how Roman gets involved in this. And there's like Roman's the tribal chief, and he wants to be above the Rock, and he doesn't care. And he'll feel betrayed by not only Rock being the one who was in charge of the Bloodline 2.0 the whole time, which usurped his power. So he betrayed him. But on top of that, choosing Cena, of all people, as his champion and not Roman. So a double reason for Roman to get involved in this and go, no, I got to try to stop this myself.
Yeah.
With Jimmy and then probably Solo back with him, so they could get involved in the match. And then, like, if it's a Bloodline Rules match, because I'm going to go ahead and guess it's going to be a Bloodline Rules match. Or something like a Bloodline Rules match if he doesn't call it a Bloodline Rules match, because maybe they don't do that reveal yet that he's been behind the Bloodline. I think they're going to, but even if they don't, it'll be something like a Bloodline Rules match where all those people get involved to try to help Cena win, and then a bunch of people will get involved to try to help Cody win. But who? Jay, Jimmy, Solo maybe if he's turned sides, Roman possibly, just so that Rock's guy doesn't get the belt. Not that because maybe Roman would prefer to take Roman would probably prefer to take the belt back from Cody, because Cody's the one who ended his reign. No pun intended. So he would have to help. And then you could get, like you did everybody else last year, if you could work it out, you got Rock, Stone Cold.
More or less.
But does that mean Cody would retain, or is somebody else going to be in the match? We can talk about that at some point, like what we think might happen. But we don't really know much more than we did going into the night, other than Bianca's got a title shot, and now John Cena, the heel, the Rock's champion, John Cena. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. They have title matches, and that's all we really learned from tonight. Not that it was not a great show; it was great, but that's really all we learned. Because, like, what about Roman now? What about Drew? To a lesser extent, what about Punk? What about Seth? Like, what's everybody doing now? We don't know. We still don't know. And all these stories are still intertwined to a certain degree with each other. So, like, what's everybody going to do about this, and what's everybody going to think about this? Is anybody going to have sympathy for Cody?
Yeah, will anybody really
Because he did
care as much?
Maybe some people who were like, what the hell are you doing, might actually, like, maybe turn the page a little bit with Cody, because Cody told Rock to go fuck himself and took the beating like that,
and the chance that he had,
and maybe Cody changed his tune. Maybe Cody changed his tune a little bit. He's not such a white bread babyface anymore. Like, he's got a little edge to him, and maybe he realizes, like, I shouldn't have done certain things the way I did them, because this is what it got me.
Yeah.
And then maybe some people will change their tune on him a little bit, like, oh, now he finally gets it.
Yeah, kind of like in a weird way, they kind of said it on commentary with Roxanne during the Women's Chamber, as far as when she was first in NXT, she was basically damn near kind of like female Cody. Like, she was all smiles, trusted everybody damn near.
Yeah, your
But
standard cookie cutter white bread baby face, like 101. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, like it takes getting backstabbed, or in this case for Cody, multiple different occasions of you just getting your ass beat, to probably be like, you know what, maybe this just isn't the right thing for me to be doing. And then maybe moving forward, like you said, Cody might, leading up to Mania shows. It's because I'm mad corny, but like, remember when I think it was when he was fighting Brody in AEW when he like dyed his hair black, and that was like the alternative side. I don't think he's doing that, but like he showed like the alternative side because that was him being serious and shit.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like at that point, minus the hair dye, we'll probably get some of that where he's kind of just it's really just fight or flight at this point because he doesn't know who's really his friend anymore. So he's just anybody can get it, which at this point isn't a bad. It's a bad spot for him to be in, but at this point it's like it's interesting from his perspective how much different his reign is compared to Gunther, where Gunther is kind of trying to fight to prove that he still is him, and everybody's just testing him.
But the way Cody is, but the way Cody is with the audience and the way the audience is with Cody, if he drastically changes, will the audience react the same? Probably not. So a little edge, yes, a little edge and a little anger is warranted at this point because he's screwed up and he should understand that he's screwed up and has been too trusting. He admitting that is completely fine and makes complete sense. But and he should absolutely be pissed off, but he should still be fundamentally the Cody that everybody loves still, just pissed off. I made some mistakes. I trusted the wrong people. I did some things I shouldn't have done because, I'm too good a guy, but I'm not going to do that anymore, but I'm still your champion and I'm still going to fight. And no matter what, that kind of heroic babyface champion, no matter what the odds are, I'm going to fight and because the fans still love that shit. If they believe it, they're still going to, if they still believe it, it still feels real to them, they're going to love that shit. It's just, the odds are going to be stacked against them. They have to be. And John Cena is Mount Rushmore, but 48-year-old John Cena straight up ain't beating Cody. Let's just be real.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like there's no cleans. Unless they just make it like a fight, and like John just goes out there and beats the shit out of him. Like, even
48-year-old John Cena. And by the way, to those who are listening who don't know, that's the same age as me. Even if he hadn't, even if he hadn't had the losing streak, even if he hadn't lost a match in 8 years.
It really wouldn't be.
And happened to just lose the Royal Rumble like in the fluky way that he did, and then won tonight. It still wouldn't be like, okay, 48-year-old John Cena who's about to retire is just going to straight up beat Cody Rhodes. No.
In his prime too? No, that really wouldn't.
No. No. So it has to be an odd stacked against him, Cody type of a thing, because.
Mountain to climb, literally.
Straight up, John's not going to beat him. Even so, I would assume my thinking is we're going to get something similar to last year. Maybe not exactly the same thing, or they won't call it that, but I think it's going to be something similar to last year. Something like a Bloodline Rules match where the odds are stacked against Cody, and it's. For a lot of the match, Cody just gets the shit kicked out of him by name the person, and Cody gets no help for a lot of the match, and then he gets help.
Then the Avengers show
up. Or maybe like Jimmy and Jay help him, or try to help him, and just get demolished because they're not enough.
Yeah, too many numbers, or.
And maybe
with John now too.
And maybe, you get something like Roman and Seth or whatever it is, right? But Roman won't help Cody because of
Roman's
this.
Just there strictly to fight. Roman would probably strictly just be there for John and Roman if he comes out to help. John and Rock.
You could play it up where like Roman wants Rock, but he doesn't want to help Cody, and then he reluctantly helps Cody. Like like when he returned, it's like I don't want to help him. He doesn't deserve my help. But then again,
the same battle.
It just depends where they go. We don't know.
Yeah, And yeah, we're definitely gonna go deeper into this Mania card, of course. So I
We
guess
might
now it's
have
kind
to
of
after Monday night, after Raw. We might have to.
yeah, I'm gonna say like definitely gonna have to dive more because obviously like this week, like we said, Monday and Friday. Shoot, I might even watch Tuesday. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? It's like at this point, every moment leading up to Mania, it's kind of like a more of unraveling the present, but we're definitely gonna get more deeper into that as the
Oh,
time
we
goes on.
got.
Also,
I was gonna say
mhm.
we got to tell the obviously we got to tell the crew the week after Mania, uh, Raw's in KC.
Oh yeah, I think they did they? Oh yeah, they talked about that. I think one of them brought it up and said where they
The
going or
week
something.
after, the week after,
Yeah,
yeah, the week after, yeah, it's in KC.
yeah, that would be. Yeah, hey, that'd be a nice little.
If I
Depending on what
was
the landscape looks
closer,
like at that time.
if I
Yeah,
was if I was closer, I'd go faux show.
yeah, because that landscape's probably gonna be nutty by
Oh,
May. Well, not
could
by May,
be,
but yeah, by around that time. Yeah,
could be. We don't even know who the
yeah,
champions. Well, we know
yeah. No,
one. I mean, Jay's gonna win. Jay's gonna win. I don't see
yeah.
how Jay. They're not doing this for Jay to lose, but who's gonna be the? I don't think Cody's gonna keep the belt. I think
There's a
I'm
chance.
just gonna
There's a
throw it
chance
out
that
there.
Cody loses it all.
I think Cody. I honestly think Cody's gonna lose the belt, but I am not out on Punk still somehow find a way to get into the match and either
Weaseling his way in.
winning it himself, or this is going to be like a another notch to the story, another chapter to the story where Rock realizes Cena doesn't get it done, or he got this. It's a play where he got Cena to sell his soul, and even someone he's so good at what he does, he's so charismatic. He got John Cena to sell his soul just to prove a point. When in reality, Cena isn't actually his champion. Punk is.
Man,
But just to show
yeah.
how powerful he is, he got Cena to turn and he screws Cena over. There's Cena's redemption arc. Like, what did I do? Oh my God, I am so sorry. And he has to make it up to everybody, the fans, everybody. He has to spend the rest of the year redeeming himself. And then maybe he gets his real shot at the title to end his career the right way. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Just to prove how powerful and charismatic The Rock is, to show his power, he got John Cena to turn. But realistically, he knows Cena can't do it, but he did to prove a point when in reality his actual champion isn't John Cena. Just throwing that out there. I don't know anything, people. I don't have insider
don't
info.
hit, don't shoot the
We
messenger.
are we are not those kind of podcasters who has like insider info somewhere. I don't have any sources in WWE or hanging out outside of arenas or any of that crap. I'm just a fan who knows stuff,
Yeah.
and I would not be surprised if Cena isn't really The Rock's actual champion. Just don't
Yeah.
be
And you
surprised.
know, yeah. And you know, as far as recently, WWE love their bait and switches. They will do something one week and then the next week you will be like, oh wait, we're not doing that anymore. What the fuck? Like
Well,
they've been doing that a lot.
the reason I bring it up is because there's something there, because in the fact that, yeah, this is a huge surprise, but this could also be The Rock showing his power. But who's been talking the most about selling their soul and yada 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 and
Mm,
needing to be the guy and needing the main event? It's Punk.
needing this
So it could
moment.
be
Yeah.
it's Punk. So it could completely be a bait and switch where Rock just proves his power, and a desperate John Cena who wants to win 17 was taken advantage of and sold his soul for nothing. And Rock just
Only
used
to
his
be
power to
sideswiped
convince
by
him,
Phil.
only to be sideswiped by the real Rock's champion, which is Punk. And then Cena's left defeated, used, lost, he just screwed over his entire career and 20 years of fandom for nothing because it wasn't real. And
He
then
thought he was gonna be champion again.
he has to spend the last 8 months of his career redeeming himself to the fans, to everyone, and then maybe he gets his title shot. But in the meantime, The Rock's actual champion was there the entire time. It was Punk, and he told you about it, and you didn't listen, and you didn't believe it because of what Cena did, and he was there the whole time. Because like the saying goes, the devil's biggest, whatever it is, the devil's biggest
Oh
trick
yeah,
is making you believe he doesn't exist.
when you've been
Well,
sitting here the entire
Punk
time.
Punk is literally called himself the devil on mic, on TV, and has been alluding to this kind of stuff the whole time. And it could be a complete double bait and switch where it is Punk, and Cena's been played, and it's been Punk the whole time, and it will be Punk because Punk's going to get himself in the match as a triple threat, and it'll be him.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's a
Could
lot to
could
digest.
be.
A lot to
God, that would be
digest.
good. That would be good. I'm telling
That's
you,
cinema. That's cinema.
there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot to talk about now, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, probably a lot more theories, obviously, of course.
I mean, not every show is going to be a banger, but I have a feeling we're gonna at some parts of it we're going to talk. We're going to watch, of course.
Yeah, there are going to be bright spots. There are probably going to be lows. There's probably going to be more what the fucks. But that's a part of the journey at this point. Because this is probably like the first week that I can honestly say, oh, they've cooked. And then it's capped off on a Saturday. So who knows? They might keep this up. They might just flounder. We all have to wait to see.
We're now officially in WrestleMania season, and it's a good time to start. And we're gonna have a lot to talk about in the next 2 months, and we will.
For sure. But yeah, think that might wrap it up for the debut episode of the commentary position. Let us know down in the comments as well, because it's definitely going on YouTube. Let us know down in the comment section what you thought. What was your favorite match? How do you guys feel about Cena turning? Did you think Travis Scott got lost? I mean, let us know. Like, I just, just let us know.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you like our theories? Do you think we're idiots? Say what you want. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Do you think we're bullshitting? Hey, whatever you want, go ahead. We're probably gonna read them. But
Are we bringing the smoke?
Yeah.
Are we full of shit? Do you think we're idiots?
Are we cooking? Do we burn the food? Hey.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But yeah. And before we get out of here, just a quick note of you can find us on our socials. Mine is at PTP_29 on Twitter. And Instagram, kind of the same thing. You probably just type in the same thing, you'll find it. But just like a 2.5 somewhere in there. I'll figure it out at some point. Probably a link in the description, comment section.
Yeah, I'm at Tony the Real on Twitter. Although I'm not on there a lot, but if this kicks off, I'll be on there more.
Yeah. And then so I guess you can say Pod Social's coming soon. It's in the works. This is like I said, first episode. I got a lot of stuff to do. But we appreciate anybody who listens to this, and like we said, the road to WrestleMania has begun, and we'll see you guys on the next one.